Top of the hour, and we're diving right in. The UK is currently engaged in a contentious debate about the age of consent, sparked by allegations against comedian Russell Brand. An alleged victim, known as Alice, was reportedly involved with Brand in her mid-teens while he was in his 30s. This has led to a call for staggered ages of consent, suggesting that those under 18 should only engage sexually with individuals under 21. Social media is ablaze supporting this idea. As it stands, sexual activity involving individuals under 16 is against the law, but police have the discretion to decide whether to prosecute. Factors like the relationship between the involved parties, their consent, and their ages are taken into account. It is, however, illegal to have indecent images of individuals under 18, even if they are consenting 16 or 17-year-olds. Further, those in positions of trust, such as teachers, are absolutely prohibited from engaging in sexual activities with any child under their care, no matter the age of consent. The argument is not one-sided. Critics of raising the age of consent claim it could criminalize consensual relationships and might lead to more unprotected sex among young people. Others feel that comprehensive sex and relationships education would be more beneficial for 16 and 17-year-olds. The power dynamics between older individuals and young people, particularly involving celebrities, are also a significant concern. The age of consent remains a complex issue, varying significantly for different activities. England and Wales see a large gap between the age of criminal responsibility and the age of consent, a gap larger than most European countries. As society evolves, the laws reflect these changes. Above all, it's crucial for young people to understand the current law and confidently use it when necessary. The focus should always remain on education, support, and the promotion of healthy relationships. Good day, everyone! This is your host, Emily, bringing you the latest news breaks and hot topics, broadcasting from New York City.
And joining you from San Francisco, this is David News Talk.
We're here, same time every day on Hot Topic, breaking down the stories that matter to you. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss a beat. Now, let's get straight into the hot topics. Keeping our focus on the UK, the age of consent has remained the same since 1885. It was raised from 13 to 16 back then, signaling a change in societal norms. In 2000, gay and bisexual men saw equality in the eyes of consent laws as the age was lowered from 18 to 16. And now, we're seeing yet another call for change. This discussion has been sparked by allegations against comedian Russell Brand. An individual known as Alice alleges she had a relationship with Brand in her mid-teens while he was in his 30s. She felt groomed and now believes that we need to consider staggered ages of consent. According to Alice, people over 18 should not be allowed to have sexual relations with 16 and 17-year-olds. She argues that teenagers' mistakes should be with others their own age. This idea is gaining traction on social media, with some suggesting restrictions for those under 18 to only have sexual relations with those under 21. The debate now is whether a change in the law would protect 16 and 17-year-olds from harm, or if it could criminalize healthy relationships with an age gap. It's important to recall, sex involving anyone under 16 is illegal. However, the police have the allowance to decide whether prosecution is in the public interest. Factors such as the relationship between the individuals involved, consent, and age proximity are taken into account. For those under 13, regardless of consent, the law views them as incapable of giving it. I've got a friend who's got a keen interest in legal changes like this. He'll certainly be dialing in for updates on this one. It's interesting, isn't it? We're talking about laws that have been changed to reflect societal norms over the years. Who knows? We might see another major shift soon. But for now, let's continue with our deep dive. It's worth noting that it's currently illegal for individuals in a position of trust, such as teachers, to engage in sexual activity with a minor in their care, even if the minor is above the age of consent. The real question is, should we introduce these protections more broadly for those over the age of consent, but still technically children? Roger Ingham, the director of the Center for Sexual Health Research at the University of Southampton, says that changing the law might not achieve much. According to him, one of the arguments for having an age of consent is so that those under 16 who feel pressured into sex can say it's against the law. The much bigger issue is actually how often this argument is used or how often it stops unwanted encounters. Now, surveys suggest that by 18, 60 to 70% of individuals have had sex. Should the age of consent be raised to 18, this would potentially bring a lot of people into the bracket of being criminalized, even if the police and prosecution choose not to prosecute under certain conditions. There's also the issue that teens in consensual relationships below the age of consent may feel nervous about seeking contraception from family planning clinics for fear of being reported, which could lead to more unprotected sex. In reality, these clinics keep underage patients' details confidential unless they are under 13 and thought to be at risk of harm, in which case other services may be alerted. Ingham suggests that better and more comprehensive sex and relationships education could help protect 16 and 17-year-olds. There needs to be a stronger emphasis on issues of consent, not just in sexual situations. And on this note, Jane Butler, the chief executive of the charity Rape Crisis, echoes these sentiments. She stresses the need for better sex and relationship education and increased understanding to shift societal attitudes around consent. Butler highlights the significant power imbalance between older men and 16-year-olds and the need to address the cultural acceptance of relationships between young, potentially vulnerable people and someone much older. This is a complex issue that doesn't start or end with just changing the law. It requires a societal shift, not just a legal one. Off to the next hot news. We're facing yet another complex aspect. Professor Ingham points out that consent issues become incredibly complex when a person of power or status, for instance, a celebrity, takes interest in a young individual. A starstruck young person might be willing at the moment but may come to regret it later. Now, how do you legislate something this complex? It's indeed a complicated psychological issue.
Well, that's quite a difficult line to draw, if you ask me.
It is indeed difficult, but it doesn't mean we should overlook it. Simultaneously, Laura Janes from the Law Society's Criminal Law Committee notes that the law is already complex in this area and inconsistent. The age considered criminally responsible, the age of sexual consent, and the age to vote in a general election, they are all different. It seems like there is no consistency in how we judge a person's level of maturity.
So, what you're saying is, we need to overhaul the entire system.
Not necessarily an overhaul, but there's certainly a need for more clarity and coherence. The law is supposed to guide behavior, but when it becomes complicated and inconsistent, it can fail in its purpose. We need to make sure young people understand the law and feel confident in using it to protect themselves.
I see your point. I apologize if I came off dismissive earlier. The law indeed needs to be clear and consistent to be effective. Thanks for clarifying that.
No need to apologize. These are complicated issues, and it's crucial we have these discussions. Now, let's continue with the final part of our deep dive. Ultimately, there needs to be a deep cultural shift where people feel confident enough to approach the police. Any legal changes, especially those involving intimate relationships between young individuals, need to be clear and understandable to everyone involved. This includes potential victims and potential perpetrators.
It does sound like a massive change needs to happen, both legally and culturally, to ensure the safety and understanding of young people in these situations.
Absolutely, it's a hefty task, and one that requires the involvement of every level of society. But it's a necessary step to protect our young individuals and educate them effectively about their rights.
Indeed, it's a topic that surely warrants further discussion and action. Looking forward to more updates on this in the future.
Absolutely. And remember, the aim is not to rush through legal changes but to ensure that the law serves its purpose in the best possible way. It's a complex issue, but one worth tackling for the safety and well-being of our young generation. Stay tuned for more updates on this and other hot news topics. Thank you for joining us on today's hot topic. We delved into a very complex issue today, the concerning gap between cultural norms and the law when it comes to the age of consent. We hope you found our analysis insightful. Please remember to subscribe and activate those notifications so you won't miss any of our episodes. Your support truly makes a difference. Sharing our content is also a great way to keep these important dialogues going, so spread the word.
What's that? You're still here? Fantastic. Just a reminder, we're here every day, same time, same channel. And did I mention there's a lot more where that came from? Stick with us and you'll never miss a beat in the world of news.
We're truly appreciative of your company and your engagement with our content. We're eagerly anticipating our next episode together.
Absolutely. We can't wait to see you back here. Oh, and before we head off, remember our little mantra? Emily and David together, stay in the loop, keep your eyes on the news, our channel's content will amuse.